You know, when you're a professional basketball player and you're spending your life in the NBA, you spend that life above and beyond the rim. And that's the title of the book by Joe Courtney. Hey, by the way, welcome back to Phoenix.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Did you have a good time when you were playing for the Suns?
I had an amazing time. It was a time of growth and fun, and I actually met my wife here, and I established that I wanted to live here in Phoenix. Had an amazing time.
Where didn't you have a good time?
Well, I had a better time in Phoenix, let's put it that way.
Joe Courtney, he spent a lot of time on the court. Your career story in 1 minute.
Career story. I picked up a basketball my first time, my 10th grade year in high school. I saw it as a vehicle for a way out for my family to actually achieve some things that we wanted and
Where
dreamed.
was that?
Jackson, Mississippi. I was raised in Heidelberg, Germany, and we went back to Mississippi after my father was in the service. And I picked up a basketball and worked hard behind it, and ended up walking on with the Chicago Bulls, beating out 76 guys for one spot, and I ended up with a jersey and started my career.
Wow.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you had to be in bed just before that dream, the real dream hit, thinking about the dream that was going on in your life professionally, getting big checks to play basketball against the best in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I was just glad to be there on the court. I mean, I was just hoping they didn't find out that I probably wasn't supposed to be there.
But what about the kids that are expected to be there from the time they're 7, 8 years old? They may be bigger than the rest of their classmates, and they also have some early skills. What's going to happen to Johnny Manziel in his second year in the NFL?
Well, that all depends on how well he deals with his thief from within. And sounds like he's off to a decent start with that. And in my book, in chapter 5, I talk about the thief from within. And so many people go out to try to, you know, not only recover, but just start to achieve goals, and they end up forming a new identity, and that new identity isn't true to their core. And what happens is eventually it comes to a head, and it generally takes an incident or an accident or something to happen where other people involved are hurt before they actually are forced to deal with it. And some people never deal with it.
So you're encouraged that Johnny Manziel is dealing with it?
I'm encouraged that, yeah, that he's taken a step, you know, however that was motivated, whether it be by him internally or whether it be by his surroundings. The fact of the matter is he's taking steps to try to get it dealt with and deal with the lifestyle and hitting the reset button, which I think is very important because you grow every 5 years as a man, and women grow a lot faster, but but as a man you grow every 5 years, and you need to be able to hit the reset button, recalculate where you are you still on track to your core, and it's very, very healthy to do that. That's
really what the book is about, too, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a success book about breaking through barriers, and like I said, your entire life you're going to be going through each challenge that you go through, breaking through barriers. And so if you have a success plan and principles to abide by, I think you have a chance to succeed.
So many athletes that make millions and millions of dollars while they're playing wind up broke so fast because they don't find whatever that business goal is after they're off the court or off the field. Tell me about a guy, though, that never stopped working and never stopped talking, Charles Barkley, and Charles Barkley as a business model.
You know, Charles is a great friend, obviously, and an amazing, amazing human being and personality. But yeah, Charles is one of those guys that unassuming, and he has one aura that's out there, but he works hard. I remember when I played with the Suns, you know, most people thought we were out partying and having fun. We did a little bit of that too. But at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, sometimes Charles would give me a call, and we'd be up and we'd go running. I mean, he was just so dedicated in his own way. I mean, he's one of the 50 greatest ever for a reason. But on top of that, he's not only taken he took his basketball career to a level, but off the court, he actually, in my opinion, has elevated to all new heights. He's not just a basketball player anymore. He's a personality, and a global personality that's well loved and well received. And you know, some things that come out of his mouth, you know, nobody's really ready for.
But that's what makes him an appealing guest.
Exactly, and that's what I love about Charles, is that he is a real person. He says what most people think.
Tell us about the Courtney kids.
Well, I have a son, if that's what you mean, my son. He's 14 years old. His name is Chase Courtney. I dedicated the book to him because I wanted him to have a tool that he could have a chance to succeed in any endeavor that he tries to do. So I dedicated the book to him as that tool, and he's an amazing kid, 14 years old, 6'3", Don't know where he gets the height from. We're just trying to figure that part out. But amazing kid, and I love him dearly, and I can't wait to be a part and enjoy his growth in life.
Is he an athlete?
You know, he is. I will tell you this: I held back at the advice of some of my peers from trying to coach him and force him into athletics. I think there's a huge problem today where parents are forcing their kids so much and trying to relive their dream, or really trying to do things that, and you've got kids who are 10 years old, 11 years old with fractures and things like that. That just shouldn't happen. And then by the time that those kids are supposed to actually be there and be into the game and be into the sport, they're burnt out. They're ready to stop because they're not doing it for the reason why they want to do it. They're doing it because their parents want them to do it.
And what about the psychological impact and the social impact on a young person, a young boy or a young girl who happens to be at a skill level where he or she is put aside from the rest of the student body? They eat at a different table. They have different standards from the rest of the students when it comes to their grades. What does that do to a kid?
Well, you know, the social environment and climate. I mean, kids are receiving information at all points in time. You know, everybody is, but you're your most vulnerable when you're young. I talk about that in the book. That's part of chapter 5. And those experiences that you have when you're young form who you're going to be. And what's sad about that is because of, by the time you get 25, 26 years old, your learning curve now has gone from 100% down to 30% because you're now collapsed in that box from your, you know, whatever social information that you perceived and you call yourself being. So it's very important. I think it's very important to keep an open platform with communication with kids.
I'm a fan, and I am such a fan that I just voted for you for the all-star team of life.
Awesome.
This kind of life. Life above and beyond the rim. You remember the name when he was playing basketball? You'll certainly remember him as an author. Joe Courtney on the Morning Scramble.